Okay, good. Sound is being picked up. Good. This side looks a little lower. There we go. I still have not clipped my nails, so nobody make fun of me for that. We're waiting on one more person to get ready. Other than that, we have 3 people ready to join. Oops, I just exited Discord. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Connected, yes. Oh, one person said 1 sec. I may as well get the code ready. So earlier, I finally pulled another immersive art in TCG Pocket. I got the shiny, what's it called? Shiny Rivalry? Whatever it is. I got the immersive art for that. I got the immersive Giratina. I have not pulled an immersive art since the Celebi in Mythical Island. That's how long it's been since I got an immersive art. And I've been opening packs every day. And earlier today, on my sister's game, I pulled the full art Shiny Beedrill EX. Now, what's sad is I'm not able to trade it to myself because I don't have any EX dupes to trade for that. Because I sure as hell ain't gonna, properly trade, give only one that I have, because I want everything in my game to be separate. Besides, the only one I have at the moment is the Shiny Charizard EX, and I'm not giving that up. Also earlier today in Pokemon Go, just as I left the house for work, I got Shiny Captain Pikachu, and then after work, when I was heading to the car, I got my 3rd Shiny Costume Florigato. My 3rd one! Too bad it wasn't female. All 3 shinies I have are male. Really hoping to get a shiny female one, though that's not likely to happen. I don't know, there's still time, you never know. So, since last time, I did indeed get shiny Landorus, so my hunt is done. My hunt for all of the remaining legendaries in my My hunt for all of the remaining legendaries in my original Ultra Sun copy, I got them all shiny. The hunt is done. So what am I hunting for now? Well, I decided let's just continue the streak, I guess. Let's just continue it. So I've started my backwards Ultra Beast hunt. So starting with Guzzlord, moving my way back to Nihilego. And crazy thing is, I already got Guzzlord and Kartana. I got them both today. I got shiny Guzzlord just a couple minutes past midnight, so I technically got it today. And then earlier today, I got shiny Kartana. So I got pretty lucky with those 2. So right now, I'm going for Celesteela. So I'm hunting all of the non-version exclusive ones. So Guzzlord, I almost said Electros. Guzzlord, Xurkitree, and Nihilego. I'm hunting all of them in Ultra Sun. Because in the past, I've hunted them in Ultra Moon. So now I want to, flip it while I do this backwards hunt. So I got Guzzlord and Kartana in Ultra Sun. Obviously, Celesteela has to be Ultra Moon. And then I will go back to Ultra Sun for Xurkitree. I also realized something else about this Zygarde hunt. I forgot that at the beginning of the month when I started this hunt, I bought a month of Nintendo Switch Online so I can actually do this hunt. So I only had 1 month to get this hunt done. It's the 19th of April today, so I have until the end of April, maybe like, I forget how many days into April, maybe 2 days into May. But like, yeah, I basically have until the end of the month to actually get Shiny Zygarde. Otherwise, I gotta fork over another $5 to get NSO. And it would really suck if I buy another month subscription of NSO, and then I get Shiny Zygarde right away, thus wasting the rest of the month. Oh well, it is what it is. So I've learned my lesson. I'm only going to catch Zygarde no matter what. Unless I start running out of ores, and at that point any shiny is welcome. You know, last night there was a pretty big thunderstorm. It woke me up at 6:30 in the morning. Anyone else just hear an alarm clock, or am I just tripping? Nope, I definitely heard it. That wasn't an alarm clock, that was my house alarm. Like when you open a door, that sound effect. Don't be concerned, my dad is playing mahjong with his friends in the basement. He hasn't done that in quite a while, in like a month and a half. The last time he did that, like my dad plays mahjong with his friends in the basement all the time. The last time he did that was before the Japan and Hong Kong trip. That was a month and a half ago. When we got back, he didn't want to play right away because one, money. Like my dad and his friends actually play with real money. You either win money or you lose money. They actually go that hardcore. So, you know, we spent a lot of money on the trip. So that's one. And two, you know, my dad was jet lagged and sick when he got back. So yeah, my dad hasn't played mahjong with his friends in quite a long time. My dad's friends were practically begging him, please let us over to play again. Because one of my dad's friends, he keeps on bringing over free food. Either that, or he's just sick of all that exquisite food he brings over. Like, I've eaten this stuff so much now, it doesn't interest me anymore. I'm sick of eating, you know, steaks, filet mignon, duck breast, lamb chops. Because he brings this stuff all the time. So maybe he's just like, I've eaten this stuff so many times in my life, I'm sick of it now. I always make it, because, you know, he's a chef for a living. And he's just like, I don't want it anymore. Here, you guys take it. So can we play mahjong? I don't know how to play mahjong, not one bit. I have no clue how to play the game. It's funny how something can be a part of your life, your entire life, and you don't know anything about it, right? Because, you know, my entire life, my dad has had friends over playing mahjong in the basement, and I don't know how to play the game. Not even a clue on how it works. Hey, you guys want to see some cool stuff? So, my sister, she came back from Korea, and she brought with her a couple of gifts, some souvenirs. So first thing my sister got me was this right here, this entire box, like yes, and it's very zoomed in. An entire sealed box of prismatic evolution, like an entire box. So there's a bunch of booster packs in here. Now I was told that because these are in Korean, they're worthless. You know, it's not like these are Japanese cards, right? I don't know. I don't collect Pokemon cards anymore, However, she offered to get me a box of these cards, so I said, sure, why not? I remember seeing online that, you know, this particular set is hard to come by. She also got me this. She got me this right here. This SpongeBob mystery box. The SpongeBob blind box. Hold on. No, do not catch. Man, now that side looks a little too high. Just trying to make it as straight as I can. So anyways, yeah, my sister got me this SpongeBob blind box, this mystery box. And the options for what to pull are like so. So I could pull any one of these. I could get lucky and pull the secret. Then again, I'm not that lucky. Unless Zygarde would like to disprove that. If there is a next time, which who knows, maybe I'll get the shiny. If there is a next time, I'll open this and I'll let you know which one I got. I don't want to open it right now, because I still haven't taken pictures and posted it to Instagram for nobody to see. She also bought me these. I don't know what this is. I don't know, I feel like it might be a bath bomb. So here's what the top looks like. Pokemon Water Ball Roly-Poly Toy. It could just be a bath toy. I don't know if it's a bath bomb or a bath toy. Here's the front of it with Pikachu. I know it's very zoomed in and blurry. And if this will focus, and if anyone can read the Korean... Okay, it's not going to focus. It's too zoomed in. Oh, there we go. If anyone knows what this stuff says, you know. Well, I showed you the Pikachu one. And then there's this one here with an Eevee on the front. It's exactly the same box. It's just Pikachu or Eevee. And I think that's all I have to mention. So I mentioned NSO, I mentioned the Korean gifts, I mentioned Pokemon Go stuff. Maybe I should have just attacked. Never mind, we're good. And... damn it. Oh, has that sound been on this whole time? The 3DS's sound was lightly on. So I finally got my hands on a brand new external hard drive, so, you know, my computer now has a bunch of more free space, now that all the stuff has been saved. You never know, right? You never know what could happen. Maybe my channel gets hacked and everything I put up has been taken down. Well, at least I have at least most of it preserved. I didn't initially start saving everything when I started at the beginning, but then later on I did. You know, my sister's jet lagged to hell right now, and, you know, makes sense. I was too when I got back. I want to see if No Shaman Feeding's gonna join before I talk about the Daredevil finale. Daredevil Born Again finale. Oh, whoops. Yep, I'm late. I started a little late tonight. But it's okay. Oh, right. Before we start talking about the episode, I want to tell you guys about 2 separate cases of bullshit that I had to deal with at work. So, the first thing that happened, a couple weeks ago, this guy once again hits me with all the lines. I'm a regular customer. I've been dealing business with you for many years now, all that shit. So, he wanted us to order a particular model that he wanted, that he saw online. So, I'm telling him, like, you know, we're giving you the best deal that we can. You're still gonna look at roughly the same ballpark that you're seeing the price of online, right? So, he was looking at the online price. It said $338. And I told him, we can sell it to you for $350 because that price will also include tax and shipping. And also, you buy it from us, we can help you claim it through the insurance, you know? You buy it online, they can't provide any insurance paperwork, right? So, rough, similar ballpark, $338, and we sold it for $350. And for us, we do all that stuff as well, right? Claim insurance, tax and shipping costs are included in that price. You know, it's an additional $12. So he said, okay, let's do it. Let's place the order. So I ordered it. You know, my customer wanted me to order something for him, so I placed the order. And I also did tell him, I see this model right now is on back order. So back orders could take anywhere from 2 weeks and up, maybe a month. It's hard to say. Back orders, you know, shipping, we don't control that. We place the order, shipping is out of our control. You know, it arrives when it arrives. We can't control how fast it ships. And then a week later, he comes back. You know, I already placed the order, because like I said, my customer wanted me to order something for him, so I ordered it. So he comes back a week later, and he tries to tell me that the website that he was looking at for the same product, they're having a sale right now. So it's much cheaper than the price that he initially told me. So he really had the gall to come back and try to be like, hey, they're doing a sale right now. Can you do it for cheaper? You know, I tried my damnedest to explain, like, that website making a sale has nothing to do with us, you know? Them doing a sale does not affect us whatsoever. That's completely separate from us. Them giving you a discount doesn't mean that we need to or we have to, because that's completely separate from us. And same thing, I tried to explain, you buy it from us, you know, we help you with all that other stuff, insurance-wise. And then, you know, he just keeps on trying to hit me with the, but, you know, I buy from you guys all the time, you didn't really give me too much of a good deal. In fact, you gave me more expensive than the price online. It's like, buddy, did you hear what I said? And then he was just like, would you be able to cancel the order? I'm just like, no, I already ordered it. He tried to make the argument, but you know, you said it's on back order, so that means they might not have it in stock. So that means it probably hasn't shipped yet, right? It's not on any It hasn't moved from the warehouse. So if it hasn't shipped yet, then can't you just cancel it? I'm just like, it's not exactly how it works, you know? Like, when you came in a week ago wanting me to order this item for you, we established, we discussed it, we agreed on a price at that point, right? Like, we discussed it, I told you the price, and you said yes, okay, let's do it. You agreed on that price, and now you're telling me you want me to lower the price for you just because somewhere else is selling it suddenly for cheaper. Man, so I really wish I could tell you that he said, okay, fine, fair, I understand. Oh, hell no. Well, that's the painful parts of doing business. You want to keep your customers happy and keep them coming to you? Well, you gotta cave sometimes. So I forget if it was $20 or $30 off. So instead of charging him $3.50, I then charged him either $3.20 or $3.30. But you know, that's absolute bullshit, because we already discussed it. We already agreed on a price, only for him to come later on to tell me to lower it, just because somewhere else, completely separate from us, is doing a sale. Man, imagine if I tried that with somewhere else. Imagine if I went to, say, Walmart. I'm just like, hey, how much to order this? Oh, it's $10? Great, let me order it real quick. Oh, it's on back order? Okay, I can wait. Hey, I went to Costco, and they're selling it for $8. Do you think you can charge me $8 as well? It's like, what kind of logic is that? We already discussed it, we already agreed on it, and you're telling me to lower the price after agreeing on it, after already placing the order, because somewhere else has a sale going on. Like, you don't see me at the grocery store asking for a couple dollars off just because a different grocery store sells the same product for 10% off. You just don't do that. So that's the first bullshit case I had to deal with. Another one. So, this one has a lot of layers to it. So, a year ago, someone, you know, did a purchase. He only put down a deposit. He, let's see, his total was $550, and he left a $50 deposit. So when he comes back for pickup, he would have had to pay an additional $500. Now, I wasn't the guy who helped him a year ago. However, I just follow what's written on the paper. So, the paper clearly says, pays in cash, $500. Pays with Visa or credit card, $590. Because credit card, taxes, I forget if it's like 4%. So, why do you think a lot of places prefer you don't use credit card? Because it's more of a transaction fee. Obviously, with cash, there's no transaction fee. However, nobody carries cash anymore, because modern, right? And everyone just is completely insistent on not using debit card because they can't collect those sweet, sweet points that they'll die without. So anyways, the dude finally came back after a year of holding his order. Man, a lot of other businesses, they just send it back. You know, they won't even bother waiting a year. Let's see if I order something from FedEx and I wait for a year before I pick it up. Let's see what happens there. So anyways, this dude finally came to pick up. He was saying that he went to the States to work. It's like, okay, fine. You left the country to work, fine, okay? And then, you know, I was telling him, it's written right here, sir. Your total was 550. You left 50 as a deposit, so now you owe 500 if you want to pick this up. And it also says right here, 500 cash, or if you pay me by credit card, 590. But because he already paid the 50 as a deposit, so that means if he chooses credit card, that's a 540 transaction. Now, before anyone argues and does the math, wait a second. 540, that's more than the tax or whatever the number is, right? Shut up. It's just what I was told. It's what I follow. I do what I'm told at work, okay? I didn't make this up. I didn't make the rules. So anyways, I told him, you have two options. You can pay me cash for 500 or you can pay me 540 as the remaining on a credit card. And he's just like, sir, please, just let me pay 500 in credit card. I don't have cash. I'm just like, no, sir. I told you the two options. Please follow the two options. Well, actually, first of all, he tried to do the same bullshit that the first customer tried to do. And that was like, hey, listen, man. I'm just like, sir, please don't try to lower the price. And he does exactly that. I'm just like, no, we held your order for a year. You owe 500. I'm not lowering $1 for you, sir. So, yeah, I told him. So, please, either 500 cash or 540 credit card, right? So then he was, I forget exactly what he said. He was like, can I e-transfer you? I'm just like, wait, the business doesn't have an e-transfer. I'm just like, no, can I e-transfer you personally? And then you just do whatever you need to do to get it to the business. It's like, no. And then he was also saying like he didn't have cash on him that day, or at least he didn't have enough. And then I told him, I kept on telling him. Like, okay, these are your two options, 500 cash or 540 on credit card. So he kept on asking, like, what if I call you guys and can we do a credit card payment over the phone? I'm like, yeah, but, you'll still have to pay the tax for it. And he just really didn't want to do that. Okay, so you don't want to pay the tax with the credit card, so where's my cash at? So, Buddy didn't want to pay. At least he didn't have enough to pay in cash. So he came back the next day with his mom in order to help pay. Alright, who am I to judge? So what did this guy do? He and his mom combined $350 cash. And then he's like, please, can I just pay the rest on credit card? Can I just pay the $150 on credit card? Please don't charge me tax, please. Now, if I was in charge, I really was like, no, we told you the two options. No ifs, ands, or buts. However, my mom has final say, so she's like, okay, fine. It's like, do these people not listen? It's like, you don't argue with a business when they're telling you they only accept certain payment methods. When a restaurant says no credit card, you don't argue with the person like, no, I'm going to pay credit card, damn it. You don't argue with the business saying what they accept for payments, right? Like, I went to an escape room with my friends the other day, and, they accept everything, cash, debit, credit. The only thing they don't accept is Amex. Like, okay, not like I have Amex anyways, but if I did, and I'm told no Amex, I just won't pay with Amex. You just don't argue with it. You're told, we don't take this payment method, please pay us with this payment method. You just do that payment. Like, I don't care if you can't afford it, that's not my problem. You pay me for the product that you want. End of story, period. The fuck is wrong with people in the world? Man, and I don't want to hear anyone make the argument like money's tight right now. Money's tight for everyone. You know, tariffs and all that. Money's tight for everyone. It's like, oh, you think that that's not the case for me as well? You think that doesn't affect me as well? But I don't try to argue and bargain when I'm out shopping, you know? And when I'm told no, I don't persist. I don't keep on pushing until the person folds. I get told no, it's like, okay, fine. I asked, I got told no, okay. The hell's wrong with people these days? And like I said, you know, the same example. Before anyone makes the argument, you know, if a restaurant tells you no credit card, we only take cash or debit, I swear someone's going to make the argument, but you're not paying $500 at a restaurant, are you? I mean, you could. What if you're having a big dinner party? You're hosting a big dinner party. You have like a dozen people and, you know, your treat. That's like a couple $100 right there. Well, say your bill at the restaurant is like $500, $600, and they tell you, sir, no credit card, please. We only take cash or debit. You don't argue, you pay. You don't argue and try to pay with the credit card. You just accept it and you pay with what they're asking you for. It's that simple. And I really wish I could use that line, you know? I really wish I could be like, why are you trying to argue? I'm telling you, no credit card. Why are you trying to argue? Just do what I'm asking. Just pay with what I'm asking. Why are you trying to argue? You know? It's like, really wish I was in charge at times, because then I could have a back and forth like, you know, sir, we're asking you, please, we don't take credit card, cash, or debit. It's like, but I want to use credit card, you know? It's like, sir, you wouldn't do this at a restaurant, right? A restaurant asks you no credit card, just cash or debit. You wouldn't argue there. Yeah, but I'm not spending hundreds of dollars at a restaurant compared to here. Well, we're not a restaurant, so don't argue. If anyone's worked in customer service and you know how much it sucks, people are douchebags. I had a case yesterday where, you know, it's not as bad, but, you know, I still got a little bit annoyed. So very last minute, just before we were going to close, this couple comes up. They take their sweet ass time to pick, which, fine, take your time, I suppose. At the very end, we settled on a price. I told her, your total is $410. I'll just do $400 for you. And, you know, I was also like, I can also help you claim from the insurance directly if you like. And then as I was doing that process, they kept on asking me, can you do the price any better, any lower? I'm just like, no, I really can't. You know, what you want is expensive. You're already not choosing the expensive brand name product. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but trust me on this. She both chose expensive products and not expensive products at the same time. Trust me. So I'm like, 400 is already a very cheap deal for you because you're not picking something that's overly expensive on one end, you know. Hey, FaZe! It's been a minute. When was the last time you showed up? Was it the, was it you during the, Beldum hunt? If that was you, it's been a while. Super busy, but you're back to hunting? Nice. Alright, during the Duraludon hunt for Archaludon, right. Oh, that was a while ago. Was that a year ago? Has it been a year for that? Almost. It's almost been a year. I see it was July of last year, and now it's April, so almost a year. What, 8 months? Yeah, July of last year. Hey man, what you been up to? Anyways, I was talking about how customers, you know, their total was 400. They tried to talk down the price. And then, you know, I helped them claim the insurance. They had exactly 400 in the insurance. How badly I wanted to be like, the hell are you lowering the price for? You have exactly enough to cover it. I am so glad I did not fold and actually agree to lower the price. Because then it's like, man, you had enough to cover it. Man, I hate it when people do that, too. You're taking a break from your Paldean Shiny Living Dex, hunting for Galarian Ponyta through eggs at the moment, and then you're going over odds. Well, best of luck to you. But yeah, I hate it when customers, they try to talk down the price, and then they pull out their wallet filled to the brim with bills. I'm just like, the hell are you lowering the price for? You have more than enough to cover it. I forget exactly what story I told in the past. There was this one time when a customer lowered the price, like kept on bargaining to lower the price, and then he pulled out his wallet with bare minimum 20 $100 bills. I'm just like, the hell are you lowering the price for? You have beyond enough to cover it. And you're gonna ask me to lower it 20 bucks? Bitch, if I wouldn't be arrested, if I wouldn't get a charge on me, I would slap you. It's like, god damn, I want to hit these people so bad. But the law confines me. There is so much I want to say and do to customers when they piss me off, but I cannot, you know? And the healthy thing is totally to keep it all in and not go to therapy at all. You're hatching your last batch of eggs now. I think you're gonna give up and gonna go for a Gossifleur. You know, I always forget. What the hell was the name of it again? Oh, Gossifleur. I always get Gossifleur and Eldegoss mixed up. Like, they don't look similar whatsoever. So I always forget that they evolve. They're the same evolution line. Well, I'm not hunting too much these days. Obviously, I'm still going for Zygarde. Again. I just completed my hunt for everything remaining legendary-wise in my original Ultra Sun game. And now I'm doing my backwards Ultra Beast hunt. I got Guzzlord and Kartana today. Going for Shiny Celesteela right now. Not a whole lot else I'm currently hunting. I think next I'm probably gonna go for a Shiny Gardevoir in Brilliant Diamond, because why not? I would not mind a male phase get Gallade in the meantime. You know, something I'm actually considering doing, and it's something I did not want to do, is I want to get all of the regional forms in every game. Now, there's a big asterisk next to that. So, say in Sword and Shield, everything that is not Galarian form, and also just cannot be encountered natively in the game. So, regional forms you can only breed for. So, for example, in Scarlet and Violet, I would not go for a Cantonian Tauros, just because you can get that easily in the terrarium. However, something like, I need to think of an example, because you can get Alolan Executor as well as Cantonian Executor native in the terrarium. Same with Geodude and that line. So no need for me to hunt those. I'm thinking like a regional form you can only get shiny from breeding. So I would only go for the ones that can only be gotten through breeding. So you cannot get them natively in the game. I know that's very confusing. Basically, just trust me. For example, just to make it easy to understand, all of the Alolan forms in Let's Go. My god, I really don't want to play Let's Go. But you know, it's been a hunt in the back of my mind for let's see, game came out in 2018. 7 years. Something like Sword and Shield, you can't get Cantonian Ponyta in the wild. At least I don't think so. So I would have to breed for that. You can get Cantonian Weezing from Dynamax Adventures, so there's no need for me to hunt that. You know, it's like that. Hold on. I do not like Let's Go at all, but I've gotten a lot of shinies there. I don't like the games either. In my opinion, they suck. However, I keep finding reasons to come back to the games. You know, I went back to the games, first of all, to finish them, in order to hunt the 4 legendaries. And then I had to go back to do the home decks for the shiny Meltan, which I will claim tomorrow, so I can have it saying claimed on 420. And then, you know, like I mentioned before, I needed the Pikachu version exclusives in order to get that Meltan. However, I have no save progress, no save data whatsoever on Let's Go Pikachu. So I'm gonna need to play that. Or at least I did before someone helped me trade for the version exclusives. And well, if I want to do all of the Alolan hunts native to Let's Go, so no cheating, no going into Sun and Moon, hunting them there and transferring up, getting them from the Let's Go games, I would need to actually play Let's Go Pikachu in order for that to be the case. God, I don't want to play the game, but if I want this hunt, yeah, I'm gonna have to. So I keep finding reasons to actually go back and playing Let's Go, despite the fact that I hate those games. Never done a soft reset hunt for any Mon before? Well, they're exceptionally slow on the Switch. Anyways, yes, my sister did get married. She's actually getting ready to move out soon. Quote unquote soon. The apartment's still being renovated. Yeah, I wanted to do the daycare Toxel hunt, but I thought it was shiny locked, so I collected it. Oh. It's not shiny locked? Well, damn, there's another missed potential hunt for me as well. Oh well, it is what it is. You see, the reason I never wanted to actually do the all regional forms hunt for every game is because, well, that's kind of the case for every game. You know, every game will have its regional form, at least for the foreseeable future. Every game will introduce a new regional form. And the only way to get the original form, shiny, would be to breed for it. So the reason I didn't want to do that hunt is because, well, that's literally how to do it for every game. So if I start it, that means I will need to do that hunt for every game that comes out in the future. So for example, I might need to hunt, let's say, a Alolan Geodude for like 6 different games. All the same method, technically, breeding. And then, you know, it would just become a tradition. The next game comes out, alright, I need to hunt every Alolan form, every Galarian form, every Paldean form. You know, that kind of thing. It's like, that's why I didn't want to do the hunt initially. But, you know, these days I don't have too much to hunt, because I've kind of hunted for everything I wanted. Again, except for Let's Go. I do have things I want to hunt in Let's Go, but I just don't want to play those games. Anyways, last Ponyta egg, then you hatch for Gossifleur. You never know. You could get lucky. Hopefully hopefully it is my first time going over odds on a Masuda hunt. Every other Masuda hunt took like 200 eggs. It's not bad. But, you know, that's just RNG for you. Took me over 1,000 eggs, Masuda method, to get a shiny Fione. Which, you know, you'll see in the future. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I hunted for that Fion like a year ago, and it's still waiting to be hatched. You know something else that I thought about that I might hunt just because why the hell not? And this is really random. Baltoy. I don't know, Baltoy has a pretty good looking shiny in my opinion. I've never purposely hunted for one. I only have one shiny Baltoy and it's in Pokemon Go. Claydol shiny sucks though, it does indeed. But Baltoy shiny is actually not that bad. I like the, the shade of blue it has. So maybe I'll go for that at some point. I would do it in Brilliant Diamond. Why? Because, once again, why the hell not? I patiently wait for ZA to start shiny hunting in that game. You know, I already have the first hunt in mind I want to do. The first thing I want to shiny hunt for is a Fletchling. I want a shiny Talonflame. I also want to shiny hunt for a Florges. Because, I grew an appreciation for it ever since I got 2 shiny blue flower Flabébés in Hong Kong. I can't believe that I've been hunting for Ponyta longer than it took me... Wait, longer than I took to beat the whole game and complete the Pokédex. Started a completely new save file for Sword. Did you actively go out and complete the Pokédex, or do you have like a living dex to complete it for you? Something I also did recently, which I've mentioned before, you went out and completed the Pokédex? Nice. Yeah, something else I also mentioned I did was I cleaned up my living dex. I got rid of everything that came from Pokemon Go. So I caught everything as a replacement so that it would not have the ugly G logo on it, the ugly G symbol. So now my living dex is finally clean. Everything came from the mainline games, nothing has that ugly G logo on it. Now, it's not a living form dex, because I'm not that crazy. Where if it was a living form dex, there would actually be only one exception, being roaming form Gimmighoul. That can only be got in Pokemon Go. It's not even the case for Meltan and Melmetal. You can get them in Let's Go and they won't have the G. Just think about the Alcremies. Oh, I don't even need to think about it. That's actually something I did for fun. I have every Alcremie form. In fact, I did 2 of every Alcremie form. One that can Gigantamax and one that doesn't. I mean, I started on it and then my account just disappeared. Okay. Still don't know what happened to it. Lost it in the abyss somewhere. Well. Ooh, frozen. Nice. Well, it is what it is, right? Something I still need to find time to do at some point is when I went to Japan, I bought a spare copy of Black and White. So I want to play those at some point, you know? It's a bit of a shame they're in Japanese because I can't understand shite when playing them. But, you know, I just didn't want to reset my save data on my original black copy. And I lost my white copy. Your last shiny was 2 weeks ago, and it was a Tadbulb from an egg. You evolved it into Bellybolt and named it after my girlfriend. It's her favorite mon. Nice. My last shiny was today in Pokemon Go. And if you don't want to count Pokemon Go, then I got shiny Kartana and Guzzlord earlier today. And Guzzlord does count today because I caught it minutes past midnight. You know, I keep looking to the side, thinking I got shiny Celesteela, but no. No, I didn't. Celesteela is like one of the less noticeable ones. Oh no, Glalie fainted. Anyways. You like it? You kind of like it? It's a bit of a subtle change in shinies, not subtle like Garchomp. Yeah. I hate hosting. You're gonna go now? I have a lot of work to do. I might be back in 5 hours or so. Good luck, man. It was nice coming back to stream. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you coming back. Alright, talk to you next time. Okay, so before I potentially actually get the shiny and have to end, we still need to talk about the Daredevil Born Again Season 1 finale. Alright, so let's jump into it. So the episode opens with a flashback to just over a year ago, where Vanessa visits Poindexter in prison. You know, there was also references to the original show. Like, she referenced Agent Nadim. He was a big part of Season 3. And, you know, it was Dex who killed him. Damn, it's a good thing I rewatched the entire show to refresh my memory. All I remembered was Nadim was a big part of Season 3 and that he died. I did not remember how he died. So, Vanessa visits Dex in jail, asking for a favor. In return, he, gets set free? Something like that? They also show that Dex is heavily pilled when he's in jail to keep him tame. And, Vanessa's like, you don't need these, because she takes it away from him. So she gives him a piece of paper to sign as an agreement deal. You do this hit job for me, and I give you freedom, or whatever she offered. So, we find out, yes, it was indeed Vanessa who hired Bullseye to take out this Benny guy, as well as his lawyer, Foggy Nelson. So, it was her. It's her fault. She killed my beloved Foggy. So then we cut back to present day where, we get a little bit of a recap of the end of the last episode where Bullseye tries to shoot Fisk, but then Matt jumps in front of him and takes the bullet for him. And then roll credits. So after the credits, the episode opens with Matt in the hospital, almost like, I don't know, maybe the day after. I think it's the day after. By his bedside is Heather Glenn, as well as Kirsten. When Heather goes to Matt's side, he's just like, Karen? Oof. That's low. That hurts. That must hurt. Like, if you were in Heather's shoes, the person you love, you're by their side in the hospital, and they say someone else's name. Oof. That has to sting. So, Matt figured it out. Matt figured out that Foggy was going to win the case. He was celebrating early, but then he was silenced. On the other side, Fisk is shaken up. Fisk and Vanessa are shaken up at the fact that, there was an assassination attempt on them. They don't even question, why did Matt jump in front of the bullet for Fisk? Vanessa's like, I need to tell you something. And Fisk is like, I know. Vanessa, I know. It reminded me of that scene in Arrow where Moira was telling Oliver, I know. Good. Oliver, I know. I know. I've known for the past year, I suppose. Pretty much everything since... Ever since the undertaking, everything's been clear. That was a good scene, by the way. So Fisk knows what Vanessa did. Who that killed. So, Fisk in his clean white Kingpin suit, Mayor Kingpin, is now doing some work. Trying to really go up against vigilantes. So, while he's at work, he asks Sheila to get everyone not on board with Fisk's plans to go home. Weed out the weak or whatever. Find out who's really loyal. And only keep who is loyal. Fisk also orders Buck Cashman to potentially just kill Matt when he's in the hospital. It's like, Matt Murdock gave his life, in defense of me, in defending me against a violent vigilante. He died a hero in the hospital, that kind of thing. So he kind of asked Buck to go to the hospital and kill Matt while he's still in the hospital. So Buck tries to do just that. He tries to go to the hospital, tries to kill Matt, pulls out a syringe. I think it was Matt. I think it was Buck who cut the power to, the hospital. So that way he can escape in the chaos. However, Matt is able to hear Buck's footsteps. And in the chaos, with the power being shut, Matt escapes. So, Buck's assassination attempt fails. Well, Sheila, needing to tell everyone who's not on board completely with everything Fisk says and does, Sheila talks to Gallo, and Gallo's just like, I could really use your help to take him down. Sheila kind of begins to agree, but then, for her own safety, she snitches on Gallo. So we see more of that later. So Matt goes back to his apartment to rest up, and surprise, surprise, Frank Castle is there, just waiting for him. Haircut and clean shaven and all. He reveals that, he got a call asking to help Daredevil, asking to help out Matt. So he does. And then we get this awesome fight scene between Daredevil and Punisher versus all of the corrupt Punisher cops who break in, completely trash up Matt's new apartment. So, Daredevil fights off all the cops while Punisher just goes crazy, goes on a killing spree. It was wonderful to see. And then they banter back and forth about, like, Frank, stop killing them. It's like, no, I will not. Why don't you start killing them, Red? And then, what was that character's name again? Hold on. What was that character's name? Oop. What was that character's name again? Hold on. Cole North. There we go. With a bullet casing that has the Punisher logo on it, they're able to put the pieces together. It was Cole North who killed I almost said Isaiah Bradley. I don't know why I almost said him. It was Cole North who killed, Hector Ayala, White Tiger. It was him. Punisher's just like, do it, Red. Kill him. It's like, no, he's not worth it. I really wish Frank just killed him, but hey, they didn't kill him, so he can come back for more storytelling, I suppose. I also like the little detail, the fact that when the Punisher cops came in, Matt broke in through the window from the rooftop, because remember, he keeps all of his Daredevil suits on the roof. So he would have had to go up, change, and come back down. I'm surprised Matt is able to move so well after being literally shot. The stitches haven't healed yet, no healing happened whatsoever, and he's already moving around as Daredevil. So a grenade gets thrown into the apartment after all the carnage. So they have to jump, both of them jump off the roof, and they do that thing where mid-air, Daredevil grabs Punisher and then uses his billy club to swing. So they land on the ground, and then Karen Page pulls up. God, I really wish she's a regular. I really hope she's a regular in Season 2. And please, I really would like to see fully fleshed out the relationship between Matt and Karen. And speaking of which, the next scene we see our three characters, Matt, Karen, and Frank, back at the Punisher's little hideout that we first saw him at. They're having a chat. It's revealed that, it was Karen who called Frank asking him for a favor to protect Matt. Gee, what a surprise. Totally wasn't able to guess that right away. Karen said that she heard that Poindexter Bullseye broke out of prison. So she immediately called Frank to ask him for a favor, and she immediately boarded a plane back. So they're hinting at a potential love triangle. So maybe there's a little bit of flair going on between Frank and Karen, as well as Matt and Karen. You know, I could see it going either way. I'm leaning more towards Matt and Karen, just because they were a thing first, and then, you know, they were kind of hinting like, okay, no, we're not gonna be a couple, we're just gonna be friends. Okay, fine, and then, you know, they started pairing Frank with Karen. You know, Matt was even a little bit jealous, too. Okay, so, Matt and Karen leave to go find the paperwork that that Foggy had, which, you know, got him killed. And then Frank stays behind. However, Frank doesn't stay behind for long, because he takes it upon himself to go and hunt down the Punisher cops. So, Matt and Karen go to their warehouse, I think. They look up for Foggy's paperwork. And, you know, there's some dialogue in there that also was a nice callback to the original show, Avocados at Law. Thank God I rewatched the show. Because literally, the final episode of the original show, the season 3 finale, they made an Avocados at Law joke, and Karen didn't understand what that meant. Finally, in this show, Karen's like, you know, I never got that. Oh, what was it? Lawyers in Spanish? Sounds like avocados? So they have a joke, avocados at law? Finally, that's been paid off. So they find the paperwork that Foggy had. I keep on almost calling him Franklin. So they find the paperwork that Foggy had, filed away. It's some sort of like legal documentation about the Red Hook, where the Fisks, if this were to play out in their favor, they would be able to legally launder money, not even millions, billions. So they can legally do their, you know, crime business or whatever. So obviously we don't want that. So we gotta stop the Fisks. So Frank approaches the Punisher cops alone, and he just mows through them, at least for a little bit, before, you know, he's overpowered. And it was, once again, wonderful to see the violence, the gore. You know, Frank just straight up threw an axe into a person's head. It was amazing to see. But yeah, Frank gets tied down to a chair in front of his audience, that is the whole group of Punisher cops. And then, oh, what's his name again? What the hell was his name again? Basically the face of the Punisher cops. Shit, what was his name? Powell, that's his name, Powell. So yeah, Powell is just talking to Frank like, you know, we worship you. We would be honored if, you know, if you could just, if you would join us instead of fighting us. No, would you? You know, these guys are asking me how do I reset the path so quickly. I'm just like, it's not a long process. I just check for a shiny, reset, connect online, and enter the code. It's not a long process. Alright, let me talk about probably the standout scene of the episode. Fisk killing Gallo. So Gallo gets into his car, thinking that his driver is in there, but then, you know, it's a Punisher cop working for Fisk. Gallo gets taken to where Fisk is at. Fisk is surrounded by witnesses, you know, people who work for him. And what does Fisk do? He first beats the hell out of Gallo into submission. And then, both hands on each side of his head, crushing it. Fisk pulled an Omni-Man and crushed Gallo's head. Not entirely to the point Omni-Man did Red Rush. However, you know, the top half of his head, you know, sliced off, as well as his jaw completely ripped off. Hands down, the goriest, bloodiest, most violent moment I've seen come from Marvel. Anything Marvel. You know, even more violent. I think so, at least. I don't know, maybe it's tied. It's definitely more graphic than the, you know, killing the Russian scene in Daredevil Season 1 with the car. Definitely much more graphic. And you know, it's like, finally, I'm seeing interviews that the actors are in saying they did some violent, bloody scenes, and they were sure they'd be cut, because no way Disney would let that happen. Finally, I get to see some actual blood and gore. Because what I've seen for the most part from the rest of the season, it's like, meh, I'm not too fazed by it. You know? Stuff like the breaking arm, Matt breaking that guy's leg, it's like, meh. Doesn't really faze me. But this, finally, I get to see some amazing, excellent bloody gore. Finally. And it was pretty damn good as well. Yes! This! I want more! So if Season 2, it has more of this, then you have my business, Disney. So yeah, that's the highlight of the episode, the fact that Fisk killed Gallo. Oh, by the way, the guy who plays Gallo, I forget the actor's name. He was actually in one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he played a character called, like, Gerald Sharp. Even I didn't notice until I looked it up. And I saw, like, oh, he was in one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yet another case of actors playing multiple roles in the same universe. You know, Melinda May's mother is played by the same actress who also plays Shang-Chi, Katie's grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. And who can forget the fact that Gemma Chan not only played Cersei, but also played Minerva, albeit one of them is blue. Hey, in the same universe, the characters look the same. Still counts. So yeah, Matt and Karen need to try to take down Wilson Fisk. So they go to Fisk's Red Hook, basically fortress, where it is surrounded by a whole bunch of Punisher cops. You know, Matt wants to charge right in, but Karen's just like, no, you need to fight smarter, not harder. We need an army of our own. Oh yeah, not Fisk. Frank, he gets the hell beaten out of him by the Punisher cops. And then we see the fact that Fisk and Vanessa, they both go down into Fisk's torture dungeon where he kept Adam, and it's been expanded. Multiple cages and multiple people are locked up. Not only is Jack's swordsman locked up there, but also Frank Castle. And then what do the Fisks do when they have literally a whole bunch of people in cages? They just dine. They feast in front of Rabbit in a snowstorm. Well, unless I'm missing any details, there was this one scene where Daniel is blackmailing a bunch of other, I don't know, Congress people, I don't know, people who don't entirely line up with Fisk's ideals, threatening them with blackmail. Yeah, that's a scene that happens. So by the end of the episode, the final scene of the episode, we see that Matt and Karen are discussing what they're doing. So they're at Josie's bar, and they've assembled their own quote-unquote army against Fisk. Who does this army consist of? Josie. Well, she's present because they're in her bar. Cherry, Detective Kim, and a couple of no-name cops we've never seen before. Yeah, not necessarily the best army, but it's a start, I suppose. So, Matt needs to assemble his own army against Fisk. Who could potentially be in that army? More Defenders characters, maybe? I feel like Jessica Jones would be a slam dunk to have in Season 2. I see people online constantly, throwing shade at Sony, being like, bruh. The fact that Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, Marvel has no rights to Spider-Man's TV appearances in live action, but Marvel does have the rights to Spider-Man animated. So, Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man cannot show up in Daredevil Born Again live action because Sony holds those rights. Sony holds the rights to live action Spider-Man in television shows, not movies. Well, yes, but yes, they do hold the rights to movies, but that's a shared agreement. Marvel literally cannot put Spider-Man in a live action episode of Daredevil Born Again, and we all hate it. Season 2, or this show in general, would be absolutely perfect for an episode, a team-up episode, where Spider-Man is a guest character. It'd be perfect! But Sony being Sony, yeah, screw Sony. There was also this scene where Fisk is live broadcasting him announcing that vigilantes are illegal in New York. So maybe Matt will do exactly that. He'll gather a bunch of vigilantes that go up against Mayor Kingpin. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Honestly, there's not a whole lot of vigilantes in New York. Like, the Avengers aren't there. Yeah, there's just actually not, these days, not a whole lot of vigilantes in New York. Moon Knight's not there. Kate Bishop's not there. The entire Ant-Man family is in San Francisco. So there's actually just not a whole lot of vigilantes in New York besides Spider-Man. So in universe, it's like, why the hell is Spider-Man not doing anything about a big fat guy announcing that vigilantes are illegal? Why is in universe Spider-Man not doing anything? Don't worry about it. That's their answer. Realistically, yeah, if Daredevil needs to build a vigilante army against Kingpin, Spider-Man should absolutely be there. But he can't be, because Spider-Man's number one villain is Sony. Just like how the Flash's number one villain is Eric Wallace. And then, end credit scene, we see Frank, manipulate a cop, get on his good side, in order for him to escape his shackles, his cage. So, that sets up the Punisher presentation special that we're gonna get at some point in the future. Yes, please. If that Punisher special is as bloody and violent, mwah. Shut up and take my money. Ooh, nice. Anyways, Daredevil Born Again. Season 1 was a little bit rocky, You can definitely see that the season has been Frankenstein together. However, Season 2, I have higher hopes for. Now they know what they're doing. They have a concrete, creative team. Really hoping Season 2 is not only a step up from Season 1, but a massive, significant step up from Season 1. Because realistically, there should be no reason that it can't be. That it shouldn't be. So, there you go. Daredevil Born Again Season 1. Oh yeah, we also see a couple of characters at the end, seeing what they're up to. Kind of like Ben Poindexter, he's just in a hideout somewhere waiting for Season 2 to happen. See, people ask me, how do I reset the path so quickly? It's like, it's not a long process. It's a very, very not long process. People act like it takes 2 minutes. It takes like 30 seconds. Well, maybe 30 seconds is generous. It takes like a minute at most. Oh yeah, another little gift that my sister brought back from Korea. You can see here, hand-cooked potato chips, black truffle. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sick of black truffle. I like black truffle, but in Hong Kong, we bought a big-ass jar of it, like a pretty hefty amount. And, we've been eating a good amount of it. It's like, I like it, but it's too much of a good thing, It's too rich, So it's like, moderation. Eating it every now and then is good. Eating it as frequently as we are, and we're not even eating it like every day, We already are eating it, quote unquote, for special occasions. But yeah, I'm kind of sick of it. Give me a second, let me double check stuff outside. Okay, to my surprise, not a lot of lights on outside, which is good. Ugh. Well, I'm out of things to talk about. And nobody's watching. I think what I'll do is I'll just listen to some music on my own for a little bit. Well, it's midnight now. The dark hour just started. I still have a little bit of fight in me. I can do this for a little bit longer. You know something that came out days ago that I still need to watch at some point? Captain America Brave New World came out on digital. I still need to watch that. Oh, you know, the final trailer. The final trailer, I think it's a final trailer. or maybe just another trailer, for Fantastic Four First Steps. Came out, and it does indeed confirm female Silver Surfer. Now, I know people are making the argument online, like, it's not woke. You know, stop calling it woke. It's not woke. There was a female surfer in the comics, and that's what they're doing. They're not doing Norrin Rad. They're doing... I don't know this character's name. But, like... you know, it's not the point, you know? People already thought that they're gender-bending Silver Surfer. They're not? Okay. So it's not a female Norrin Rad, but you know damn why. What? You know damn well why they chose the female version of the comic book Silver Surfer instead of the male version, the more popular and well-known version. You know exactly why they chose the female version. At the very least, I'm hoping they call her by her female comic book name. If they just straight up call her Norrin Rad, I will be pissed. I'll be furious. If they literally just gender bent Norrin Rad and just kept on calling her, well, let's say Nora Rad, I'll be furious. I don't remember what the character's name is in the comics, but I do remember it is nothing alike to the name Norrin Rad. So at the very least, I'm hoping to at least call her by her comic female name. You know, I will admit, I'm still iffy on Pedro Pascal being cast as Reed Richards. I don't really see Reed Richards, I just see Pedro Pascal. However, I will admit, certain shots in the trailer, yeah, I guess I could see some Reed Richards in him. Certain shots, certain angles, like, yeah, okay, I can see him being Reed Richards. I feel like the mustache isn't working, though. The mustache just does not look like Reed Richards. Anyways, we'll just have to wait and see for the film. Also, Galactus is strangely small. I know Galactus can shrink his size to whatever he wants. I'd much rather see a, you know, enormous Galactus. You know, a Galactus big enough to hold the planet, the entire planet Earth, in the palm of his hand as if it was like a tennis ball. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Wait for the movie to come out. I'm hearing theories online, which I'm betting isn't too far off from the actual plot. The Fantastic Four will fail to save their Earth, so it gets annihilated, gets eaten by Galactus. Reed uses his multiverse traveling machine plot point to save his family, and basically, I guess, like, immigrate to the MCU. I think that's not that much of a stretch to say theories-wise for the plot. The Fantastic Four fail to save their Earth. It gets destroyed by Galactus. So, as an attempt to survive, they jump universes. They go to the 616, you know, 1999-99 universe to survive. And then they meet the Avengers, blah, blah, blah. Well, at least it's not 1 HP. Whoops. What else can I watch while I just, mindlessly do the same thing over and over again for a differently colored shiny pixels? Oh no, it wasn't the final trailer, it just says official trailer. I think it's kind of funny to think that Ben Grimm is a variant of, what was his name, Micro? In Punisher, because they're both played by the same guy. Oh, Microchip. What was his character's name again? I don't know. Whatever. You know, one thing I feel like is off with the Fantastic Four is, why is the Thing so small? I expect him to be almost Hulk size. I know he's not as big as the Hulk, just a little bit smaller. That's what I expect, him to be almost the size of the Hulk. Why is he so small? Oh yeah, something else. Something else about Daredevil. So we know the Void is going to be in Thunderbolts. I'm just thinking, like, what are you gonna do about this, Mayor Fisk? Oh, whoops. Oh yeah, we also got a new trailer for 28 Years Later. I really should rewatch the first film, because I don't think I've ever seen the second one, 28 Weeks Later. I saw a breakdown of it, but I never actually watched the movie. And it's been so long since I've seen 28 Days Later. Should probably rewatch it. Okay, so one person is dipping out, so I just pinned the next person to join. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, after this round, I will need to be right back. Nice. Alright, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I think this will be my last one for tonight because it is getting late. You know, what I just left to do was I had to let my dogs out for one last pee before bed. Cause you know, we do that too. We pee one last time before bed as well. Hey, thanks no shame in feeding for banning that bot. I didn't even know you were still here. So yeah, I was letting my dogs out for one last pee before bed, and when I went out there, I smelled skunk. Now, I didn't see any skunks, but you know, that just reminded me that, well, it's now springtime. Wildlife's coming back out, skunks are back out. There was a time when Toby went out and he did indeed get sprayed by a skunk, so it has happened before. So definitely gotta be careful of that now. Well, this will be the last raid for tonight, yep. Going to bed afterwards. My sister, she's not coming home tonight, so that means I will have to wake up early tomorrow to take care of the dogs. Oh, and just when I thought life was getting back to normal. It actually should be even easier for her since she's jet lagged, so she'll wake up exceptionally early. But she's not coming home tonight. Shame. You know, crazy thing is, for the first time in quite a long time, not just me, my entire family hasn't really seen my sister in like the past month. I know that's gonna be pretty much the norm now that she's married and she's moving out soon. Once she has kids and her own family, that's just gonna be the norm. For the past month, my entire family hasn't really seen her. And that's because, you know, my parents and we went to Japan, then Hong Kong. That was 2 weeks. When we came back, the next day, my sister left for a cruise for a week. And then she came back for like 3 days. And then she left for Korea for 2 weeks. That's more than a month. So for more than a month, my family, or rather my parents and I, we just haven't really seen my sister. Nice. Eh. Nice, nice. All right, last check for today. And god damn it. All right, nothing for tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.